Hello students, it's Nazia Begum here, your physics lecturer, welcoming you all in today's lecture. So today we are going to continue chapter 6 and this is the last topic of this chapter, collision. Here we are going to study about two types of collision, elastic collision and inelastic collision. First of all, let's see the definition of collision. A collision is said to occur between two bodies when either or both of them are in motion and come in physical contact with each other, thereby affecting their state of motion by exerting force on each other. That means if two bodies are in motion or if one body is in motion and other is at rest, at that time when they physically contact with each other, when they collide with each other, okay, that is called collision, and collision affect their state of motion. Okay, either the velocity will increase or decrease, or if at rest it start moving, if it is moving it becomes rest. So some or other effect will be there in their state of motion. Here we are going to study about two types of collision. First one is elastic collision and another is inelastic collision. Let's first discuss about elastic collision. When there is no loss in kinetic energy of the system during a collision, then it is said to be an elastic collision. It means that the total kinetic energy before collision will be equal to the total kinetic energy after the collision. Okay, for example, in collisions between subatomic particles, the deformation during collision is relieved without any loss in kinetic energy. Second is inelastic collision. These are more common types of collision encountered in day-to-day lives. In such collisions, there is a loss of kinetic energy during the collision. Some part of initial kinetic energy is converted into heat, sound, etc. during the collision. Example, collision of a ball with floor or wall. That time the ball is having some kinetic energy. When we throw it towards wall, it collides with wall and some of the kinetic energy is lost in form of sound. Okay, because when the ball collides with the wall, we can hear a sound. Similarly, whatever collisions are there in our day-to-day life, they are mostly inelastic collision because some or more part of their kinetic energy is always wasted in form of sound, light, heat, etc. Now, one additional type is also there, that is perfectly inelastic collision. Sometimes the deformation may not get relieved after collision and the bodies stick together after collision and move together as a single body. Okay, so if two bodies collide with each other and after collision they become one body, okay, a system they create. So such type of collisions are called perfectly inelastic collisions. To explain perfectly inelastic collision, if a bullet is fired to a suspended block and gets embedded into it so that the two move together as a system, then the collision will be perfectly inelastic. Sometimes there is a sudden increase in kinetic energy of the system due to release of potential energy on the impact. Such collisions are called explosive or superelastic collisions. Example, bursting of a cracker as it is thrown forcefully on ground. Okay, so these are the types of collision. Now let's move to their analysis. So first of all, we will discuss collision in one dimension. Okay, so both the types of collision, perfectly inelastic one and elastic one, both we are going to study in one dimension. Okay, so first point here, We first consider a perfectly inelastic collision in which the colliding bodies stick to each other and move together as a single body. Consider a body of mass m1 moving with velocity u1 collides with a body of mass m2 at rest. Okay? So one body here is moving and other body is at rest. Considering one-dimensional collision, it is head-on collision. So one-dimensional collision when the bodies are moving in a straight line and collide with each other. So that type of collision is also called head-on collision. Okay. So here the angle will be 0 degree. The angle between two bodies will be 0 because they both are in same line. If after collision suppose m1 and m2 get joined together and they start moving with a common velocity v, then according to conservation of momentum, the total momentum before collision will be equal to the total momentum after collision. Now before collision, both the bodies were separated. So their mass we will take separately. So the momentum of first body will be m1 u1. Momentum of second body will be m2 into 0 because the initial velocity of second body was 0 because it was at rest. After collision, mass is m1 plus m2 because both the bodies has combined and make one system. So the mass of that system is m1 plus m2 and their common velocity is v. So this is the total momentum after the collision. Now from this equation, when we rearrange it, we get formula for v. So v equals to m1 u1 upon m1 plus m2. Now from this equation we can see that if the total mass of the bodies is more, then velocity will be less. The final velocity will be less because they are inversely proportional. Okay. Now because it is an inelastic collision, that's why there will be some loss of energy in form of heat, light, sound, etc. So now let's see how much loss is there in kinetic energy on collision. Okay, so we will check here the change in kinetic energy which is represented by del K. Okay, now because here loss is there, that's why initial kinetic energy will be more than the final one. Initially the second object which is having mass m2 was at rest, so it was not having any kinetic energy. So before collision, whatever kinetic energy was there, that was possessed by the first object. So the total kinetic energy before collision is half m1 u1 square and the total kinetic energy after collision is half m1 plus m2 v square. Okay. Now in place of v, we put value from here. So we get this one. Here it is having square. So this m1 plus m2 will cancel by this m1 plus m2. Okay. And by opening the bracket and rearranging them, we get this formula. So here you can see I have solved it for you. When we open this bracket, we get m1 square u1 square upon m1 plus m2 square. So this one will be cancelled by this one. After that we get this line. Now from here half m1 u1 square, here half m1 u1 square we will take as common. So we have 1 minus m1 upon m1 plus m2. So this is the amount of energy which is loss in inelastic collision and it is a positive quantity. Okay. Now if we want to find out the ratio of final and initial kinetic energy, so we can simply divide them. After dividing them by putting the value of v square, we are getting this line. Ratio of final and initial kinetic energy is m1 upon m1 plus m2. Now because here denominator is greater than numerator, that's why this value will be less than 1. That means this value also will be less than 1. So from here we can see k final upon k initial is less than 1. That means k final is less than k initial. So obviously there is a loss in kinetic energy, okay, and which we have already derived. Now in one dimensional collision we will study about elastic collision, okay. So in elastic collision, what we assume that momentum is conserved and the total kinetic energy is also conserved. These 2 points you have to keep in your mind, okay, when we are solving for elastic collision. So now consider two perfectly elastic bodies are there having masses m1 and m2 and moving with initial velocities u1 and u2 respectively in a straight line. Now we imagine that u1 is greater than u2. See, any one velocity should be greater than other, then only they will collide. If they both move with equal velocity, they will continue moving without collision. So if they have to collide, the second one or the first one, any one has to be having more velocity, because they both are moving in same line in same direction. So if one velocity is more, then only they will collide with each other. So here suppose u1 is greater than u2, so that the masses collide and move with velocities v1 and v2 respectively. So u1 u2 are their initial velocities and v1 v2 are their final velocities. Here the total linear momentum is conserved. So the total momentum before collision m1 u1 plus m2 u2, this is the momentum of first body, this is the momentum of second body before collision. This is the momentum of first body and this is the momentum of second body after collision. So total momentum before collision is equals to total momentum after collision. Now when we rearrange them, we take m1 m1 at one side, m2 m2 at other side. Then m1 we take as common, so we have m1 into u1 minus v1, m2 equals to v2 minus u2. This line we consider as equation number 1. Now in elastic collision, the kinetic energy is also conserved. So this is the kinetic energy of first object before collision and this is the kinetic energy of second object before collision. So this is the total kinetic energy before collision. Similarly, this is the total kinetic energy after collision. Here each term is having half as common, so we cancel that. And again we rearrange it, m1 m1 at one side, m2 m2 at other side. When we take out m1 as common term, we have u1 square minus v1 square. Here we will apply the formula of a square minus b square. So we have u1 minus v1, u1 plus v1. Same thing we will do here. m2 we take as common and apply the formula of a square minus b square. So we will have v2 plus u2 and v2 minus u2. Give this equation number 2. So here you can see we have two equations, equation number 1 and equation number 2. One we got when we have assumed momentum is conserved. Second we got when we assume that kinetic energy is conserved. When we divide equation 2 by 1, m1 m1 u1 minus v1, this will get cancelled. At this side m2, v2 minus u2 is here, m2 and v2 minus u2 is here. Okay, this is not plus sign, one will be in minus, one will be in plus. So this will get cancelled and we have only v2 plus u2. So after dividing we get this equation, u1 plus v1, v2 plus u2. After rearranging them we get u1 minus u2 equals to v2 minus v1. That is, this is the relative velocity of m1 with respect to m2, okay, before collision, and this is the relative velocity of m2 with respect to m1 after collision. So here the relative velocities are equal to each other, and from this equation we can also find out the values for final velocities. Okay, when we rearrange this equation, we get V2 equals to U1 minus U2 plus V1. Now, substituting this value of V2 in equation number 1, we can get value of V1. Okay. So, this is our equation number 1. Here we put the value of V2. Okay. After putting the value of V2, we get this equation. Multiplying M2 inside, we get this line. Okay. When we solve it further, we get this line and then finally this one. So here we are getting value for V1. Now, if from this equation, see, first what we have done, we find out the value of V2 from this equation and we put this value in first equation and we got value of V1. Okay. So when we have to find out the value of V1, we have put value of V2 from this equation. Now when we have to find out the value of V2, we will put value of V1 from this equation, and in similar manner when we solve it, we get this equation for V2. So here we have got equations for the final velocities of the objects after collision. Okay, these two values, these two equations are very important. By putting different values of u, v and m1, m2, etc. in those two equations of v1 and v2, we can find out so many different situations. Okay, so that will be your homework, to study different cases for collision in one dimension. Okay, if both the bodies are having same mass, if one body is at rest before collision, if one body is having more mass than another, m1 is greater than m2, then what happen? If m2 is greater than m1, then what happen? If u1 is greater than u2, that time what happen? If u1 is having some value but u2 is 0, that time what happen? So different cases are there that you have to study. Okay, so you put different values in v1 and v2 and tell me what results you are getting. For example, one is solved here. Suppose both the bodies are having equal masses, so m1 equals to m2 equals to m. Okay, when we put this value here in these equations, so m1 minus m2 is here. If both are same, so this term will become 0, this term here will become 0. Okay, here m2 is written, m plus m will become 2m, m2 is also m. So what happened? 2m get cancelled and we will only get u2. So v1 equals to u2. Similarly, v2 equals to u1 we will get. Are you understanding this? If m1 is equals to m2, so this term will become 0, this term also will become 0. And we have this term. Okay, in place of 1 and 2, we simply have written m. So here we have 2m u2 upon 2m. How 2m came? m1 plus m2 was there. So in place of that, we put m plus m, it become 2m. This 2m get cancelled, we have u2. 2m get cancelled, we have u1. So v1 becomes u2 and v2 becomes u1. That means the velocities are exchanged. Okay, before collision, two objects were having different velocities. After collision, they both exchange their velocities. Now read the last line here, in which there is one case where m2 is greater than m1. So in this situation, what will happen? That you solve and tell me. Okay, this is your homework. This is it for today's lecture. See you in next lecture. Till then, goodbye. Take care. Do some productive work, and the most important thing, be healthy, be safe.